or maybe his dad agreeing with the mom. But the scene when his mom is just, you didn't even graduate high school, you're good for nothing, like that just kind of broke my heart. Like for whatever reason, I was kind of rooting for him to get into this industry and make
Yeah.
something of himself, even though in the rational side of me would say like, no, you can do so much more. But yeah, the mom scene right there, I really felt for him because it's not like he wasn't trying. He was he actually working two jobs, or was the second job a lie
Um,
so he could see the girl?
I think that was the lie.
Okay.
But he was working it. He was working as like the bus boy,
Yeah.
and if you count like showing people his dick.
Yeah, like really emasculating himself and lowering himself just to earn a buck. Like it was sad, and that kind of stuff. Despite the fact that he didn't graduate high school, to be just heckled by his parents for that, that's just kind of sad. Right now, we are unfortunately losing Mike, so I'm going to ring him back right now. All right, we got Mike back. Sorry for that technical difficulty, but we are
Sorry,
back.
guys. So yeah, as we were saying, like I feel like it was a good thing that he didn't go back to his family. Not a good thing, but in the sense for like the film, like he's away from that. He's like he changes his name. He's no longer like he literally becomes a different person,
Yep.
and that's how he chooses to live his life. And like you show, like he's very successful. He was winning awards. He's the best. But cocaine gets to him, as it does a lot of people, not just porn stars. And it's I think my favorite scene in the movie is the New Year's party. So the character of Little Bill, his wife keeps on cheating with him, and she doesn't really care.
A
Um,
lot, a lot of great subplots in this movie.
yeah, a lot of great subplots. Another great one is Don Cheadle's character
Oh yeah,
trying to
I
fit in.
I want to touch on that
Yeah,
later,
we'll
but
touch on this. I'll
yeah,
talk about this. So the New Year's scene. So he walks in, another long shot actually. He walks in and sees his wife cheating on him again. So he walks out. He grabs, and this is a New Year's party for 1980. So it's the new decade. He walks out and he grabs his pistol, shoots her dead, shoots him dead, and just as the clock strikes at 12, he shoots himself. And it's kind of like an allegory for like the 70s was full of innocence,
yep,
like all the characters seem innocent, everything was like fun and like successful. But now the 80s is happening, and the 80s was when shit hits the fan for everyone. So it's just kind of showing like the two decades are like one is one of innocence and happiness, and the other one's full of like hardships and like just change that isn't going well for anyone else.
yeah. I love that analysis. That's something I didn't pick up on, but props to you for catching that big allegory there, big metaphor. I do want to touch on, like you said, with the drug abuse and the fact that yeah, he's in this industry and he's making
Yeah,
money off
it's yeah,
recording
and
sex,
it
but
is
like it gets to the point where the drug aspect of it, where
yeah.
Julianne Moore's character, I believe her and Mark
Yeah, she
Wahlberg,
offers him in the first place. Like he didn't want to take it originally,
yeah,
but
and
like he felt like she became a mother figure to him, so he needed to like he didn't have a mother figure. His mother
right,
abused him, so with that mother figure, he's like he wants to please her. He wants to like if this is what she wants me to do, I should do it because he's never had like a good relationship with like an older female
and
before.
it broke my heart too when she encourages him to do a line of coke and he does it,
Yeah,
and then she encourages him to do a second one, and
yeah.
like that kind of stuff just made me so
Yeah, and
uncomfortable because
she's got her own issues. I mean,
she's
her
supposed,
like
yeah, exactly,
custody battle.
like you said, she's supposed to be a mother figure to him, and she's pressuring him into doing too much coke. And we do see, like, earlier in the movie, there's the one girl who overdoses on the guy, and the guy is like, "This is the second
Oh yeah,
time in 2 days," and it's like,
yeah. It's a comedic
excuse
scene.
me, like, it gets pretty crazy. I do want to kind of move forward. You said you had your favorite line in the scene, so I want to let you give the description.
Oh, and what scene? My favorite line?
When he kind of
In
leaves the business, when he
oh
leaves Jack, when he leaves Jack by the pool.
oh yeah. So yeah, my favorite line. Yeah, I gotta. My favorite line from the whole movie. So he's full of himself at this point. He's jealous that more stars are coming into like John Doe, that actor. So he goes up to Jack and he goes, "You're not the boss of me, Jack. You're not the king of Dirk. I'm the boss of me. I'm the king of me. I'm Dirk Diggler. I'm Dirk Diggler. I'm the star. It's my big dick, and I say when we roll." That's my favorite line because it's like he completely has changed. Like he was like such a nice guy. He was so humble for the like stuff he's getting, but like the drugs, the fame, everything got to his head, and it's just his fall from grace. Because Jack's a really nice guy. Like, he's, like, not abusive or anything. He's great. But he's, like, just trying to do his job, and Dirk thinks he's better than the director, so he fires him. And this is kind of like the downfall of Dirk.
Yeah, that scene
I guess you could say Jack's a little abusive. He is kind of,
we
kind of pressures kids to do porn. We could talk. That's a whole other conversation.
We also do see him at the end of the movie straight up beat up a guy.
No, he made fun of him and made fun of the girl, so I think he deserved to get the shit made out of him.
I guess that's true. Just a lot of, like, if you would even call them protagonists, I would just call them main characters in this movie, because
no one's good.
Like, a lot of them
got issues.
A lot of them, it's hard to root for.
I feel like I'd say the easiest character to root for is Buck, John Cheadle's character.
Yes.
He leaves the industry, but he can't get a job because his name's connected to the industry.
Oh my god!
But he can't get that loan.
Don Cheadle recently hosted Saturday Night Live, and he did say in his opening monologue some of the characters you might recognize him from, and he mentioned his character in Boogie Nights. So that's why I was kind of intrigued to watch this movie, because I knew he was in it, but I didn't know how much of a role he would play.
Yeah.
One of my
favorite roles.
One of my favorite characters, easily.
That scene is in the donut shop.
Yeah, oh my god. Yeah. But the scene I want to touch on, my favorite scene from the movie, is when he's trying to get the loan, and he sells this big picture idea. He references it earlier in the movie when he's trying to sell a stereo, and he wants to open a stereo shop. And it's like, oh, good for you, local business, that's your dream, man, go for it. He applies for this loan to the bank. He's anticipating it, and the guy's just like, we can't give you this loan. He's like, oh my god, did I fill out something wrong? Let me redo it. And he's like, sir, you're in the pornography industry. And he's like, no, I'm an actor. Like, don't use that word. And despite all his efforts, they refuse to give him a loan because of his past connections. And it kind of goes to show, once you got red on your ledger, you can never erase it.
Yeah, and that brings up another theme of the movie, how in, like, the 70s, like, it wasn't, like, it was just becoming legal, these types of, like, these porn movies. It's just becoming legal in the States to put these in theaters. And, like, they don't see it as bad. They see it. They're actors. They're making movies.
Yeah.
Especially, like, that scene's a great scene. Great for mentioning it. Because just, like, he's like, I'm an actor. Don't say that word. Like, he doesn't like that. Because that belongs to videotapes. And that belongs to, like, something lower to what they're doing. But in reality, I mean, they're doing the same thing. It's just on a different medium.
Yeah, so that scene really broke my heart because of how much he wanted this dream and how much he was striving for it. Yet, no matter what how hard he tried, they weren't going to give him the loan. And then, if we want to continue focusing on his character, because this next scene doesn't really affect the plot of Dirk Diggler and Mark Wahlberg's
we'll get back
character.
To Dirk,
We'll get back to that, but Mike, I want you to touch on this scene because you said it was one of your favorites.
The donut shop.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of like he goes. He's married to one of the other porn actresses in the movie.
Yep.
And they have a good relationship. They have a kid on the way, and he goes to the donut shop to get her donuts, and a guy tries to rob the place, and he's like wicked freaked out because, like, I thought he was gonna be dead. I thought he was gonna be dead, and that was gonna be the end of the story. But there's a guy in the back with a gun, and he starts pointing the gun. So then the robber shoots the clerk. He shoots
the customer shoots the robber, and then the robber shoots him back. And then the customer also shoots his gun.
Misfires,
and he kills the clerk.
Shoots the clerk.
Yep.
So, but there's a big bag of money on the ground, and no witnesses, and he just got the dad alone. So what's he gonna do? He takes the money, and by the end of the movie, we see he's got his kid, his wife, and he has a stereo store. So it's honestly, it's a happy ending for him. I mean, that's what a stressful scene though, because you do not think it's going to end well for him, but it's literally the best possible scenario.
Yeah, it's strange because another kind of metaphor, good imagery, is the fact that he's in that all-white tux, and he gets the blood splatter on him, and that's not coming out. That's red on his ledger, and it kind of mirrors the fact that, you know, he was in this industry before, and there's no way to erase it.
It's hard to scrub it out.
It's tied to him forever. So I think that was a great imagery in that scene.
Some good karma came his way, though.
Yeah. So if we're going to go back to the main plot of the movie with Dirk Diggler.
And also we got to mention Reed Rothschild, John C. Reilly's
Yes.
character. They become good friends. They're making those action porn movies. They're very successful.
And
But
they're making
once he
demo
cuts
songs.
ties with yeah, that's what we'll talk about that right now. So he cuts ties with Jack. And says, I'll do my own thing. And he goes, he's singing these songs, and he's just so unsuccessful. Any money they make, they buy on coke with Todd, the other guy,
Played by Thomas Jane.
terrible influence on them. So any money they do make, it's all on drugs, and so they want to make some money. So they're like, okay,
They need to fix their car.
yeah. So they need to fix the car. So they go to this big drug dealer's place, who was played by Alfred Molina, and they're gonna sell him a bag of baking powder. And this is my favorite scene. We'll talk about this now. So they're gonna sell him this big bag of baking powder, pull it off as cocaine. So they get to the house. This big bodyguard, and you can tell Reed and Dirk are wicked scared, but Todd's high, so he doesn't care. And it's so stressful because you have like his little boy guy, his little like thing. He's throwing fireworks on the ground.
Yeah.
So like it's just like you keep on jumping because he's whipping fireworks.
Literally, like Mike is not joking. Literally every 10 seconds, it sounds like a gunshot is going off.
Yeah. So he does like a line of I think he does some meth. He smokes his crack pipe and he puts on Jesse's Girl, and it's just like my favorite performance in the movie. It's just such a small one, but he's just like, he doesn't really know the words and he's just dancing along, and he doesn't think anything's going wrong because they got rid of the bag. But Todd, he's high, he wants more from him, so he like pulls the gun. He's like, what are you doing? What are you pulling out a gun for? And then the massacre happens. Like everyone gets killed except for Eddie and Dirk and Reed. So, but that whole scene, it's so stressful because like this guy's bad news. Something's going down, and it's between him. He's like rambling and dancing to Jesse's Girl with the fireworks in the background, and like the best part of the scene for me is when Dirk is just like, I'm getting drugs, and like on the face, but then his face just changes completely. Like his smile becomes like a frown. He's like, what am I doing right now?
Right.
How did I get to this point? And like that changes back. He changes kind of like back. He gets like sobered up in this one scene, and it's just like masterful acting from Mark Wahlberg, something we don't see often for him. But no offense to him, he's a great guy. Well, that's debatable. But this performance is just, that part is my favorite part. Like his face just changes, and like his entire like mentality, like instead of like, I'm getting drugs, he's like, I need to get out of here and talk to Jack.
I mean, if we're going to talk about Mark Wahlberg as an actor, I think he does have I think he has a more positive filmography than negative. But back to the scene, which is the main focus. Yeah, this scene was masterful. The tension was so palpable, especially with the bodyguard when he bends down to grab the baking powder, which is, they're telling him it's cocaine.
You see the gun.
You see the gun
just hanging right there.
Inside his, I believe he's just wearing like a, what's the word?
Like a Havana shirt.
Like a bathrobe, essentially. And that whole scene, because you're just wondering, because he takes the baking powder ready to do a line, and like he's going to realize it's not cocaine, and it's just back and forth. But really, it's not set off by him realizing that. It's set off by Thomas Jane's character wanting more from the deal and like, taking out the gun.
We're not done. Yeah, he picks up the gun. Yeah, it doesn't really like happen until like I think he shoots him. He's like, what the hell? And he starts shooting back. He gets killed. He goes into the room. He gets shotgunned, and they run out as he's shooting at him, and he runs all the way back to Jack, who does take him back. Yeah,
a bit of a lack of authorities in this movie, I would say, because
you could definitely like some pretty loud gunshots happening. And no one's really coming together.
There's a house that they're clearly in possession of lots of drugs that there's never any police. The only time we see authorities is when Julianne Moore's character, and another scene I want to touch on, is fighting for the custody of seeing her kid with her ex-husband, and he's basically like, well, it said within reason or a reasonable place or something, and I'm not going to bring our son to your like whorehouse. And then she's just crying and upset, but like,
we can also talk about how like, I forget who picks up the phone. I think it's Buck who picks up the phone. Someone's asking for Maggie, and like she's there, but she's not like answering because they don't know who Maggie is. Like it's just Amber Waves to everyone else.
Yeah. It's real tragic.
Like,
especially.
I do love how like Oh, go on.
Well, I was just gonna say also with Roller Girl is just Roller Girl for
Yeah.
90% of the movie until the very end when they try to do that one